What's going on, guys? Agent Jim Shorts coming at you with another video for Yins today. I recently did a video about why I thought Harley Quinn Birds of Prey failed. I got a lot of questions and comments about that video, and it was really cool hearing everyone's thoughts on the matter. After reflecting on that for a bit, I really got to thinking about the character of Harley specifically, and I really wanted to understand why she works and when she doesn't work and what's all happening with all that. Birds of Prey failed for a plethora of reasons, but I honestly don't think the main reason was Harley herself. As I said in my past video, I really liked Margot Robbie in that role. I think the movie was just lackluster from a story perspective, and it failed to understand what makes Harley Quinn a compelling character. So I really do believe a good Harley Quinn movie could be made, and I would be really excited to see it. In order to demonstrate this, and delve a bit more into a character study of Harley, I really want to look at a couple of examples that I feel like nails the character. The example that I want to use is the Harley Quinn animated series on DC Universe.
Harley?
It's me, dickhead.
Ahoy!
This show is surprisingly funny. It's so slapstick, but yet twisted in the best way possible. I can understand why it's not for everyone, but I think it really shows how interesting the character can be. This show has such a crazy direction and tone that really throws you off if you were expecting something like Batman the Animated Series, for instance. There's gore, profanity, and just overall mania that really sells this over-the-top character. I really want to take a deeper dive into why this show works, and why Birds of Prey didn't have the wings to keep going. Yeah, I just made a bird joke. But anyway, my main criticism of Birds of Prey is the lack of tone in regards to the plot, and the lack of understanding on what makes Harley tick. The beginning of the movie established that Harley had just broken up with the Joker, and it was a huge deal in her life. She was so distraught and depressed after he kicked her out, and this was clearly a traumatic moment in her life. But yet, the movie barely spends any time addressing this after the opening few scenes. On the other hand, in the animated series, we see Joker betray Harley in the first episode, and despite the silly tone of the show, we really see how the Joker has abused her over the years. She cannot accept that he doesn't love her, and the show goes so far that we eventually find out she has subconsciously fabricated memories about their relationship in order to mentally cope with the physical and emotional torment she suffered. Somehow, a cartoon that makes fart jokes made a more powerful and emotional connection than a multi-million-dollar live-action movie could manage. But I think the thing this show really shows us is something very important about the character of Harley. As a character, we have seen her in two very different lights. One as the Joker's girl, and two as a solo act. I think the thing the show understands is the gap between those two lights is critical to understanding the character of Harley. She has to go through a metamorphosis to become this new independent person. She's so damaged that she needs to figure out who she is and what she wants to be. Over the last decade, we've seen this shift from her being Joker's plaything to being a well-developed character. This whole process is the evolution of Harley Quinn. In the animated show, this evolution is shown after she breaks up with the Joker. Her whole identity is getting into the Legion of Doom, which is basically the bad guy's version of the Justice League. We later find out that this is secretly just an attempt to impress the Joker and to earn his respect. A person who is mentally, emotionally, and physically abused isn't just going to randomly drive a semi-truck into a chemical plant and be all fine. It would take time for her to get to a place where she can rediscover herself. The show was wise to devote this entire first season to this metamorphosis and characterization. By the end of the season, you accept Harley as an independent character who's her own person. You don't look at her as the Joker's love interest anymore, but just as another villain who stands on her own merit. The other critical thing I think this show did that the movie did not is building a great supporting cast. And in the movie, the Birds of Prey were just underdeveloped and really just plain flat. I know a lot of people were like, oh, I love Huntress, she was so cool. And while I think the character had potential, we really didn't meet her until the last 20 minutes of the movie. It's really hard to say that someone's a really good supporting character when they're not in 80% of the movie. Anyway, the show did a really great job in picking some creative characters for Harley to team up with. The first is obviously her best friend, Poison Ivy. Ivy was a key character that really made this show work. Harley is nuts and damaged. She is a lot of fun, but she's also a lot to deal with. She really benefits from having some, quote, straight men to play off of. In this case, the straight man character is Ivy. That sentence is so ironic since they've been romantically involved in the comics, and neither of them is a man, so that would imply they're not exactly straight. But anyway, the term is used in storytelling, so that's what I'm going for here. Anyway, the show really got creative in picking up some other characters for her to play off of. The main core of Team Harley consists of Clayface, King Shark, an old man cyborg, and Dr. Psycho. These guys are all crazy and messed up, and are voiced by some amazing actors. For instance, Dr. Psycho. He's a member of the Legion of Doom at the beginning of the show, but as he's battling a female hero, he utters the unspeakable word for a woman, and effectively gets Me Too'd by the Legion of Doom, which is freaking hysterical.
That really hurt you! You
Holy shit.
And anyway, he falls so low on the totem pole in the villain world, he ends up having to join Harley's crew to try to rehabilitate himself in the eyes of the villains. So basically, he was so politically incorrect, the bad guys gave up on him. It was pretty funny. But anyway, he's voiced by Buster from Arrested Development, so I really have enjoyed his performance. You also have Clayface, who's basically a blob of clay pretending to be a Shakespearean actor, Bane, who's like a special needs British guy, and the old cyborg man who's played by George Costanza, which is freaking amazing. Seinfeld for days, baby. This cast is like a bunch of spare parts that were somehow put together into beautiful modern art. These characters are all fairly fleshed out in a way that really has great comedic chemistry. This allows Harley to riff off these characters in a fun, snarky way. It really makes her character seem more likable, but still that unhinged lady we know and love. Stories that understand Harley are smart enough to show her emotional and mental turmoil, as well as developing her as a person. They also understand how to maximize her charisma by putting her with a fun cast of characters to play off of, so she doesn't come off overbearing or boring or annoying. I've obviously been referencing the animated show as my example of how to make this character work, but you can see her being used wonderfully in plenty of other places. Like for instance, check out the New 52 Suicide Squad comics, the Arkham games, specifically that Harley DLC. Yeah man, it gets dark real quick, as well as Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. It's a meh movie, but I really liked Harley in it. With all these materials, I would assert that Harley is a good character, but I also think we have to be reminded that a good character does not guarantee a good movie. Birds of Prey had some good moments, okay? Margot Robbie was great. She really understands the character of Harley Quinn, but a good actress can only do so much with what she's given. And I think the writers clearly didn't understand how to play Harley and just tried to play a politics game in order to try to draw some people in. I think instead, if you actually show us a really cool and well-developed female character that's relatable and real and interesting, everyone will go to see it. I'm a guy, and I feel like a lot of people will assume I'm just hating on movies because they have women in them or something. I'm really not. I like Harley Quinn, clearly. I've watched and read and played tons of media that have her in it. I'm just really frustrated that mere weeks before Birds of Prey came out in theaters, Harley Quinn the animated series dropped on DC Universe, and it was so good. We have such a dichotomy and polarization between these two shows, but yet Warner Brothers and the people making these movies can't see it. Maybe take a page out of Marvel's book and look at the source material that made these things popular. If you do that, I think you can really make a good movie with a female lead, specifically Harley Quinn. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, The Evolution of Harley Quinn, a character study. If you want to see more character studies like this and you have anyone in mind, leave it in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. It really means a lot, and I would just be thrilled if you would subscribe to me. I will subscribe to you emotionally if you subscribe to me YouTubeally. Is that a thing, YouTubeally? I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a thing, YouTubeally. That's my new thing, and I'm sticking with it. I love you guys, YouTubeally. But anyway, thanks for sticking around, guys, and stay tuned for more content coming out soon. Stay frosty.